Give me a second. Okay, I should be live now. Yeah, so this session is especially about answering any questions that you might have around Marketo, or how to keep learning about more about Marketo or anything else. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. Yeah, so start putting your questions into the Q&A section here, and I will try to answer those one by one. In the meantime, you are typing your questions. Maybe I can just continue and just uh, speak a little bit about how you can continue your learning. So definitely there is product doc. I should have already provided this information to you guys, but maybe let me share my screen very quickly and show you what I'm talking about. Just give me a minute here. So yeah, so if you go to either docs.marketo.com, give me a second, it's taking some time to load here. Okay, so yeah, these are the product docs from Marketo itself. You can go there and start learning one by one. So you can start with getting started. This is more around how to set up Marketo if you are first time inheriting a new Marketo instance. How to set up those things. What are the different checklists that for any new Marketo instance you have to set up. So this is kind of a setup checklist for you. Then quick wins are like simply sending out an email from Marketo, things like that. And then within the product doc, you have the complete details, the whole story about Marketo, what are the different functions are there, how to use them, with the screenshots, and sometimes you will also see some videos in there. So yeah, seems like you guys are not able to see my screen. Give me 1 second. Okay, you should be able to see it now. Sorry about that. Can anyone confirm if you are able to see my screen here? Okay, I think it's working fine. So yeah, I was talking about this doc. So let me go back. If you type in docs.marketo.com, you will go there, or maybe you can just bookmark this one, experienceleague.adobe.com/docs/marketo. Okay, so from here there are multiple sections. First one is getting started with Marketo. So basically this one is for someone who is inheriting a new Marketo instance. So this is the setup checklist. What are the different things that you have to do? Setting up your Marketo users or some protocols. This is about that. But if you just want to continue your learning more about what are the different functions in Marketo, what are the different modules, what you can do, you can go into these documents one by one. And if you are interested, wants to check like what is coming up, what are the new updates from Marketo side, you can go to the release notes, check out the release schedule, as well as maybe click on the current release and see what are the different things that are there. So definitely so many announcements coming on dynamic chat. We now have that Adobe Marketo Engage journeys as well. So those things are there. You can go ahead and check those out. Yeah, let me go back and see if you have, if anyone has posted any questions so far. No questions. Okay, no, we have one question looking for more on third-party integration session, webhooks, and admin activities. So yeah, definitely. Okay, let me post the URL, this URL for you guys. 1 second. So you should be able to see a button and you can click on that. Okay. So yeah, so that's about it. You can go there and check it out. But the question was around can we expect more sessions around third-party integrations, webhooks, and admin activities? So definitely, this particular module was for beginners only, just to provide you some initial beginning kind of information around Marketo. How does it look like? What are the different things you can expect? All that information, but I'm planning to have more sessions in future about APIs, third-party integrations, webhooks, maybe some sessions on how to actually go for lead nurturing, a detailed session about that, lead scoring, syncing between market and Salesforce, things like that. I'm planning on those things, so be on lookout, and you can continue your learning from there. How to prepare for Marketo Associate certification? That's a very good question. So let me go back and share my screen again and show you how you can check all those things and how you can prepare yourself. So I think I don't have that, but Marketo certification. So let me link this page as well for you guys. So there are 3 levels of certifications at the moment. I hope you can still, no, you might not be able to see my screen. 1 second. You should be able to see my screen now. Let me add this link as well here. So I just added that certification link on the screen. You should be able to see a prompt for certification. If you click on that button, it should go to this page that I'm sharing here. So there are 3 levels of certification at the moment. First one is certified professional, then business practitioner, and architect. So if I go to the business practitioner one, professional one, which is the first level of certification for Marketo. So anyone who has approximately 6 months of experience and on experience on Marketo, they can go for this certification. To get ready, there are things like who should take this exam. This is talking about that. This is providing some exam details. What are the passing score? How much time you will get there? How much does it cost? So everything, and then get prepared. To prepare yourself, the main question was like what are the different topics and how you can prepare yourself. So they have provided a complete list of all the topics that will be covered within this first level of exam. So they have linked all these documents, product documents as well here, so you can go read more about it and go for it. The idea for the first level certification is to understand, like, do you have basic understanding around marketing automation as a whole, and do you understand that concept, and do you have beginner level of understanding how market actually works. So if you are prepared, what you can do next is there is sample questions as well. So this is a kind of readiness where it's a quick short survey. You can take this survey to assess if you are ready to take this exam or not. And at the same time, there are sample questions as well available. So if I go to the get certified, Yeah, so you have, or if I go to this one, I think it's on this page. Hmm. I think you have to log in first for that one, but let me see. No. If I go here, no, it's going to my. There were some sample questions somewhere. I'm missing it. Okay, this one. Sorry. So sample questions are here. So you can click on that. Take this sample question exam just to better understand what kind of questions you can expect from there, right? So there are some sample questions as well. The next is definitely for business practitioner, which is expert level exam. It is more detailed and thorough. So you have to kind of know all the ins and outs about Marketo, complex setups, integrations. So you should know about all that stuff. That's why it says you should have somewhere around 1 to 3 years of experience, like deep level of experience in Marketo. So the questions here are are scenario based, or maybe to test your memory. That kind of questions you can expect from these exams. So yeah, you should have in-depth knowledge about how things actually works in Marketo. And then architect level is definitely a next level certification where you must know about everything, like from architecture level, how Marketo is structured, custom activities, custom objects, integrations, how integration is actually working back in the in the under the hood. Uh, so you should know about all those things. So it is there. You can go to this page and learn more about that. Going back to the questions. So yeah, can you please share the link? I did that. Not able to see the link. Are you not able to see the link? You should be, or maybe share now. Can you see it now? I hope you can. Let me just publish these somewhere. So let me accept this question. You guys should be able to see Karthik's question and the links there. Let me know if you still face any challenge there. Yeah, so next question is, do we get all the resource link via email? Yes. So along with the recording of this particular session, I will attach all these links there in the email so that you have access to everything. So don't worry if we are having some trouble here sharing with these links. So I will do that. Okay, let's see another question. I'm not able to see the links you share. Hoping, okay, red dot question, but okay, it's what's discount coupon. Any possibility of discount coupons? Um, if you are a Marketo customer, you might want to reach out to your customer success manager at Adobe if they can provide some discount coupon. But at the moment, I don't think there are any discount coupon available for general public. How much your session promise for going for MCE exam? So this particular this whole training module was for beginners only. So from there, excuse me. From there, you can go for MCA exam, but definitely you need some hands-on experience on Marketo. So I would suggest if you can at least go through Marketer documents, understand everything. You can go for the first level of certification with the help of these sessions, but I would not suggest for MCE because these sessions were not too detailed and too deep for MCE exams. So yeah, for that you have to have actually actual hands-on experience on Marketo. Okay. It seems all the questions are not published. Do you get the results? Yeah, so don't worry about these links and everything. In the email next week with the recording, I will definitely add all these links that I am mentioning here. So don't worry about that if you are still not able to see these links there. So Karthik raised his hand. I just accepted that. Yeah. Any other questions from anyone else? Would you take a session on visible? I can do that, or I can have someone who is an expert on visible talking about all that stuff. Initially, I was thinking about having other people as well coming and sharing more stuff around that. So those will be more on kind of webinar format going forward instead of a kind of training format. So be on lookout. Whosoever has registered for these events, definitely they will keep receiving these invites going forward, and I can I can talk about visible, or I can have someone maybe from Adobe or someone who is really an expert and has done multiple visible implementation. I can have someone talking about that. Do we have free access to Marketo instance for practice? No, unfortunately, that is not possible. If your company, because Marketo doesn't offer any kind of sandboxes or free licenses at the moment. If your company has a Marketo license and they have sandboxes, you can try this out there. But otherwise, no, that is not possible at the moment. Will you cover the analytics BI and other reporting features in Marketo? In this particular training session, I tried to cover that, but definitely it was not that deep. Deep down kind of approach for analytics, but if more people are interested, maybe we can definitely cover that. So what I will do is probably I will post a poll and send out an email to everyone just to find out what kind of sessions you are expecting in future. So and I can arrange those sessions accordingly. I think that would help everyone. Can you please provide the scenario-based interview questions, or is there any resource available for reference? So as I mentioned, on that certification page itself, you have sample questions available from Marketo Adobe itself. So you can take that exam just to better understand what kind of questions you can expect from there. Since I was part of these exam development, I can't really reveal any questions or even suggest any questions there, but I can definitely help answering any questions that you might have. So but definitely for reference, it is already there. Sample questions are already there on that page. Please explain recipient time zone and head start in short. Okay, that's a very good question. So, if you are a global organization and you are targeting people around the globe, right, and usually what in traditionally what happened is you decide, okay, we can just send out this email on this particular time, maybe 7 a.m. PT, or if you are a Indian based company, you might decide to send out email at 7 a.m. IST. But if you have people from different countries, different time zones, that might be like for example, if you are sending out email at 7 p.m. So, 1 second. So if you are sending out email, let's say at 7 a.m. PT, that would be 7:30 p.m. IST, right? So people in India might not be able to see that email at that time, right? So you may want to make sure that people are receiving that email in their time zone at the morning time or afternoon time, where whenever you want to send that out email out. So with recipient time zone, what you can do is you can select that setting, and Marketo will automatically decide the time zone based on the data which is available within Marketo, like their country information, their zip code, their phone number, or their state information. So based on all these different things, and if you don't if any user doesn't have all these information, they also go to the inferred information based on IP address, and try to find out that email that time zone, and send out emails to the respective people within their time zone. So instead of sending out email to everyone at 7 p.m., 7 a.m. PT, it will send out email for someone who is who is in IST time zone at 7 a.m. IST, someone who is in PT time zone at 7 a.m. PT, someone who is in CT Central time zone, they will receive at 7 a.m. CT. So that's the benefit of recipient time zone. Head start is actually like if you are sending out so many emails, let's say over 100,000 emails in a single batch. So what happens is it doesn't like how Marketo actually works. You have to think from that perspective. First, Marketo create all these files in the backend as email files. So it's like they create kind of a txt file for everything, because if you see if you have any personalized content within the email, or even if you don't have any personalized content, but all the links within the email, they have to be converted into personalized links for the user to enable that open and click tracking. So what Marketo does is, for all the records that are eligible, qualified to receive that email, they create those many copies of that particular that particular email on the email server first, with personalized content. And from there, once those copies are ready, they start sending out those emails one by one, those copies one by one to the user. So this actually happens in the back end, and it happens on the go. So with the head start, it's like if you have a large audience that you are sending out email, it usually takes 1 to 2 hours for Marketer to prepare those copies on the server, and then send out email to the users, right? So if you want to make sure that your email, if that is scheduled at 7 a.m., it has to go out at 7 a.m. You can use head start functionality. From there, Marketo actually create those copies in advance and start sending out email at 7 a.m. Otherwise, if you are not using head start, it will start preparing for those copies at 7 a.m. and you might see that emails are going out at maybe 9 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. or 11 a.m. So if this usually happens if you have a really large audience that you are trying to target. Hope this answers your question. Yeah, so the next question is, what is unique feature in Marketo compared to other marketing tools like HubSpot, Adobe Campaign? So it totally depends on what kind of company or what is your a marketing strategy overall. But if you see Marketo's nurture functionality is something that you might not see in HubSpot and Adobe Campaign. Adobe Campaign is more for B2C kind of a stuff, whereas Marketo is for B2B. So that is one of the distinction there. HubSpot, definitely companies use SMB, mostly SMB level companies use HubSpot, but there are enterprise level companies as well who are using HubSpot. But Marketo is mainly for enterprise, companies, and it has all those features that helps you, score the leads, easily, create those lead life cycle programs, and nurture programs. So these are kind of few unique features about Marketo. Okay, let's see if we have any other question here. Yeah. Okay. New question is, please comment on a duplication in Marketo and when it works and when it doesn't work. Okay. So if I understand it correctly, the question is how we get duplicates in Marketo and how to mitigate that. What are the scenarios where we can expect duplicates? So to give more information around that, if you see, there is a misconception that in Marketo, email address is the primary key. No, email address is not the primary key. Primary key is the lead ID, Marketo lead ID or Marketo person ID. That is a numeric ID, which is the unique or primary key, I would say. Email ID is the dedupe key in Marketo. But there are scenarios where this dedupe rule doesn't work. So if you see, there are multiple sources where we can receive the data in Marketo, right? It could be web form, list upload, through APIs, through Salesforce integration, right? Or maybe you are creating that record manually in Marketo by going to lead database, right? So what happens is if you are getting a new record through form or list upload, or through APIs. Through API, you can still create duplicate. I guess there are scenarios, but usually for web forms and list upload, email Marketo automatically dedupe that record based on email address, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you are manually creating, definitely you can create as many duplicate as you want. Manually, if you go there and just click on create new lead button in Marketo, you can definitely create that. Another major issue is definitely through CRM sync, which is Salesforce in most of the cases. So for CRM sync, and if you are more familiar with Salesforce, how sync works is between Marketo and Salesforce, the dedupe key is not the email address. It is the Salesforce record ID, be it Salesforce lead ID or contact ID. So if you have duplicate records created already in Salesforce, you will see that duplicate coming to Marketo as well. Another scenario could be, you are not syncing everyone from Marketo to Salesforce and from Salesforce to Marketo, right? So that could also result in duplicates. So for example, if there was a record already created in CRM, but you never synced that record to Marketo earlier. Now what happens is if that same person is submitting a form, Marketo form, Marketo will create that record in Marketo database and sync that as a new lead to Salesforce. So in Salesforce, you will see that duplicate because Marketo doesn't have visibility and it doesn't know if this record is already there, right? So, or the other way around could be like you already have that person, that record in Marketo that with that email address, but you never sync that record to Salesforce. Now, if someone create that or somehow that record got created in Salesforce and it syncs back to Marketo, as I mentioned, it will check if that lead ID or contact ID, Salesforce ID exists on any record within Marketo. It doesn't, so it will create a new record for you. So that's why usually it is it is recommended to have complete integration between Marketo and Salesforce, but definitely there are scenarios where you do not want to sync everyone from Marketo to Salesforce and Salesforce to Marketo. So from there, it becomes a little bit complicated process to manage all those things. Can we integrate MS Team, Microsoft Teams with Marketo? If yes, could you please explain how the integration happens at high level? I doubt we have any native integration available from MS Team to Marketo or from Marketo side. You might want to use, maybe some third-party tool like Marketo or Zapier to make that happen. Or maybe something is available within Microsoft Suite which you can use, or you might want to develop something custom to integrate MS Team with Marketo. So I'm hoping by MS Team you are thinking about integrating MS Team hosted webinars or events with Marketo, or maybe just simple meetings as well with Marketo. So I think native integration is not possible, but we can use third-party tools to make that happen. Okay, question from Shakti. Not able to log in case to Marketo support while clicking on create a case. It shows your current support entitlement has expired or it is not active. Please contact your support admin or so that they may escalate the issue. But I don't know who is the support admin. You can reach out to care@marketo.com, or there is an email address. Let me quickly check if I do have that somewhere. There is an email address, care, that you can use. Let me check and I will get back to you. Shakti, you may want to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I will try to find that email address, and I will provide you that. But if you know who is your CMS, customer success manager, you may want to also reach out to them, and they should be able to help you out with that. Okay. And at the same time, I guess you also have access to live chat. If you go to your support page, you should be able to chat live with the support. Just check that out, Shakti. Okay, question from Mukesh. Can we pause any particular updates in Marketo? So to better understand this question, I think you are referring to prevent updates on a specific field within Marketo. So yes, we can do that. Let me log into Marketo and show you that. 1 second. Sorry about that. I don't have admin access to that particular instance, but you can do that. So it's called block field update. If you go to admin section and go to that particular field, go to field actions, you will see that option there to block field update, and there are multiple sources including API, Salesforce, manual, smart campaign, web form. So you can select a specific source that you want that particular source to block, or you may want to say, hey, block this field update from everything. So yes, that is possible. You can do that. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so there is a question around interview questions. So if you ask me like what kind of questions I ask, definitely I try to see first try to understand what they do on day-to-day basis inside Marketo. I will let people explain like what they are actually doing there, and then from there I try to understand better, deep dive a little into if they really understand the marketing automation concept first. Deeply, what I believe is you should first know about marketing automation concepts. These tools are there, definitely they have their own things that you have to learn, but unless you understand all those marketing automation concept, you might not be able to work properly on any marketing automation system. Marketing automation system, you can switch from one to another, but the core concepts are going to be the same, right? Lead scoring concept are same. Your lead lifecycle management, how you manage or bridge between marketing and sales are going to be the same thing everywhere, right? But to understand more around Marketo, I try to assess from there like how they apply those knowledge or those concepts within Marketo to make that implementation successful. Okay, can we set one second? So next question is how the unsubscribe is handled in Marketo. Okay, good question. So for unsubscribe in Marketo, we have this unsubscribe field which is there. You can definitely create your own custom unsubscribe page and capture those unsubscription through emails. You have to add this landing page link into your email footer. Definitely you know that, but just to deep dive a little into that, it's similar to other systems how they manage it. But if you see like if you really want to dig into that, if someone has already unsubscribed and they got deleted from Marketo for any reason, Marketo has this functionality called a durable unsubscribe. So with durable unsubscribe, even if that record is deleted and if that record got acquired again from any other source, Marketo will automatically mark that person as unsubscribed based on their previous unsubscription status, even though you have deleted that. So Marketo has a really robust unsubscribe functionality, and at the same time, if you see how this happens, like if someone has been marked as unsubscribed in Marketo and you want to try to send that email like a promotional email to that user, Marketo will automatically block that person receiving the email. But there is a catch. If you are sending out any operational email like thank you sorry email, or if someone fills out a form to download a white paper, you may still want to send that email out saying, hey, thank you for filling out this form, here is the link to your white paper, right? So those kind of emails, if you mark them email asset specifically as operational, Marketo will send those operational email to the user. But if any email that are not marked as operational, Marketo will automatically block the user receiving that email. So yeah, that's there. If someone asks what is demand gen, then how to explain properly? Okay, so demand gen. What is demand gen? So it's if you see as the name implies, generating demand, right? How do you generate demand? Through branding, through providing educational content. You try to engage people first before you start selling them, right? So it's like educating people about the problems, about the product, about the process, providing some valued content to them, helping them out on certain things, and from there you can start capturing their details. You can start putting them into some nurture kind of sequence, and from there you may start getting some traction. So in very simple layman term, demand generation is about, in my opinion, it's all about creating that value and providing that valued content to the user that actually helps them growing, learning, and solving the real world problems. So there is a question around, can we set recipient time zone in Smart Campaign? So no, in Smart Campaign you can't. But if you are using email programs, it allows you to set up the recipient time zone setting, and then if you are launching any nurture programs, you can also in engagement programs in Marketo terms, you can also set that recipient time zone there. But through Smart Campaigns, no, that I doubt that is possible. Okay, any other question from anyone? Okay, new question is, can we check broad log and delivery log in Marketo? Manjula, can you explain that a little bit more? Log. Is it like what emails were delivered to the user, that kind of stuff? Marketo has this activity log available. I have shown in I have explained that in one of the session, where you can click on any record and go to uh, you know activity log and check what really happened, what kind of emails they received, when they received it, did they open or click that email, or even if you are updating anything or changing any data set on that particular record, you will see all that information available within the activity log in Marketo, if that's what you mean, Manjula. How did you get where you are today with Marketo? It so well. Okay, Brandon asked this question. Yeah, so I actually started my career back in 2012 with a marketing automation agency itself, and it was kind of new to me. Everything is new to me. I was trying to be a software developer at that time, like a Java developer, but somehow I ended up with the marketing operations. So that agency at that time, they actually had their own homegrown marketing automation system, and I used to work with dev team and QA team, solving out and helping out on several issues or any issues that are there. So from that perspective, like from a back-end perspective, I got really good knowledge there, like how these systems actually work in the back end, how open click tracking actually works, how this whole email marketing works. And from there I started learning Marketo eventually. And there it just happened, like I just started following Marketer community, started just following questions, answering questions or asking questions, participated in in different events, webinars, or any Marketer user groups that happen. So I started from there. I started learning, from these product docs, and I never missed any new release that Marketo is releasing. So, yeah, that's kind of my journey. That's how I started. Okay, so Manjula explained that, like how many audience delivered the email soft bounce hard bounce. So yeah, that's a really a simple email performance report that you can easily generate from Marketo, and it will give you all the details, like for any particular email, how many people you targeted there, how many actually received that, how many soft bounces, hard bounces, open click, everything you will see within the email performance report in Marketo. Yeah. Any other questions? I'm just approving a few questions here, so that you can also check those questions. Yeah, so I think we still have 15 minutes. Come on, guys, if you have any other questions for me, shoot it. I'm here, and definitely I will try to, plan for some more detailed and more technical sessions. Yeah. What's the best way to implement this new knowledge? Okay. So definitely that's one of the hardest question that I always get, and I don't really have any answer, like a solid answer to it, like how whatever you learn, how you can go ahead and implement it. But I would say, try and see if there are any company who are willing to, provide you that kind of, opportunity to start working on Marketo. Or the other thing that I would say is try to see if there are any agencies, because in agencies they support multiple products. So if you have knowledge about one product, maybe you want to enter into that agency with that product knowledge. Maybe you don't know Marketo, but you might know Alaqua or HubSpot very well. So you may want to enter that particular agency with that knowledge, and from there you may want to get your hands dirty on Marketo. So that's kind of another thing that you may want to try out. Iki asks question: if you are an Eloqua user, do you think learning curve is reasonable to be Marketo user? So I have worked on Eloqua as well in the past, and I can say, like, Eloqua and Marketo are very different in so many manners, but definitely, as I mentioned, it's about the core, right? The core is same. If you see the setting up, one of campaigns or nurture campaigns or that flow campaigns, or setting up, web forms, definitely there is huge difference. In Eloqua, you set up all those web form rules within the web forms, but here you have to create a smart campaign, but it's kind of it's still similar kind of, thing, right? It's just there are different places where you have to do things. If you see, Marketo seems a little more organized from that sense, like you can create everything within a single place, whereas in Eloqua you have to go into multiple places to create those different assets. So definitely there will be little learning curve, but I don't see major problem if you really understand Marketo very well. To tell you, like, I was kind of working on Eloqua side, on Marketo side, and then I switched to Eloqua back in 2016. And Eloqua was kind of new to me, but to be very honest, if you are clear on those core concepts, you can learn any tool very quickly. So it took me around 2 months to at least learn the basics of Eloqua, how things are doing, and how to at least set up basic things like set up emails, landing pages, web forms, send out the first kind of email. So you can at least do that. I don't see many like a major issue there if you are very well versed with Eloqua. Okay, what are the primary KPIs for demand gen? And the next, okay, so definitely for demand gen, I think the primary KPIs are around how many net new records you are generating, or definitely like what is the cost per lead if you are using social media for generating leads, or ads for generating leads. What are your cost per lead? and then cost per MQL, how many MQLs you are generating, what is your MQL conversion rate, all that could be your KPIs for demand chain there. Have you worked in any other marketing tools? If yes, how Marketo is different from other tools? So as I explained just recently, uh, you know, uh, if you compare Marketo, Eloqua, HubSpot, these are different tools, but the core is kind of same for all of them. If you see, Marketo provides you very simple UI to work with. You don't have to go into multiple places to do all those things. You can have a very organized thing within Marketo. Eloqua is, I'm not saying Eloqua is not a good tool. It's a very deep tool, I would say. It's more technical and more flexible in that sense. If you see like from a web form perspective, or from setup perspective, from dynamic content perspective, you will see some advantages probably there in Eloqua, whereas Marketo is no not behind on that sense. So yeah, these are major. But if you see Marketo, as I mentioned, the power is the organization, and the marketing engine, like the engagement engine that Marketo provides, is unbeatable. Any resource to study marketing automation concepts? That's a very good question. So there are many books available in market. One of the book, and one of the person that I'm really admire is Manufacturing Demand is the book name, and the author of that book is, just give me 1 second, let me, I'm actually really bad with the names, but Manufacturing Demand is the book name that will give you really good idea about these core concepts: demand generation, and then lead scoring, lead nurturing, lead life cycle management, how should you really approach about these things. This is one of the book that I actually read during my initial days, so you can go about that. Then there are other books around ABM stuff, if you really want to learn more about that. Yeah, like B2B is ABM, is one of the book from Sangram Vishre, so you can check that out. Uh, he has published, I think, 3 books. Those are really good. So I would suggest you to check those out. And definitely, you can also, simply, search for marketing automation concepts, or these things like, lead scoring, lead nurturing, lead lifecycle management, aligning marketing and sales. These are some of the core concepts that you can simply search on Google, and you will find lots of things there. But to start with, I think these are some of the books that you should look for. I will include these books names, and maybe there are links where you can purchase these books. I will try to link that there. So Marketo, Eloqua, Pardot, Salesforce Marketing Cloud, email marketing difference. So it's a very broad question, Mahesh. But as I mentioned, like if you see, Marketo is for enterprise. Pardot was supposed to be for enterprise, but it has so many flaws, right? If someone working in Pardot, you might hear from them firsthand. But based on my experience, I'm not really power user for Pardot, but what I have seen and experienced and heard from other people is like it's not easy to do things in Marketo, in Pardot, setting up even lead scoring or simple web form. There are so many problems and so many limitations there. So there are some comparison blogs on site that you can check, but definitely like Salesforce Marketing Cloud, if you see, this is for B2B majorly, right? In Salesforce Marketing Cloud is something that used to be Exact Target earlier, so they have renamed it. But again, it's kind of little technical. If you see there, for creating any segment, even you have to create a SQL query there. So it is powerful. I'm not saying it's not. You can Salesforce Marketing Cloud allow you to manage really high volume of records. Like if you have your database in millions, Salesforce Marketing Cloud could work very well for you there, especially if you are in B2C environment. Marketo whereas is for B2B. And as I mentioned, in Salesforce Marketing Cloud, you can't really set up those lead scoring kind of thing. It doesn't really allow. It has some integration with Salesforce CRM, but it's not that powerful as you will see that is in Marketo. So there are so many differences. I can't cover everything here, but definitely you can check out some blogs on the web. When you have a tech stack like Marketo, Sendoso, gifting platform, yeah, and SFDC, how do you go about understanding the best way to implement gifting platform and get most out of it? We are implemented, but we know we could, better leverage native features. So I think Sendoso have native integration with Marketo and Salesforce both, if I'm not wrong. And you can also trigger some webhooks from Marketo to trigger those specific gifts to Sendoso. I think if you are leveraging Marketo as a platform, and you really want to engage people with those gifts, and if the idea is to embed your Sendoso program within the engagement program in Marketo. So let's say you are sending out some emails and people start engaging. They filled out some form or they request some maybe hard copy of some brochure or something, for example, right? And you may want to send them out those kind of things. Automatically, you can use Marketo engagement program for that. So basically, you can create a program and you can use a smart campaign to call that webhook to Sendoso. So all that can be done. I would love to understand more about this, Brandon. So if you want to reach out to me on LinkedIn, maybe we can have a separate one-on-one discussion to better understand how you have implemented and what else can be done there. I'm open to that. Okay, what are the possible ways what are the possible ways do we have to lead data audience for event platform? One way is import list. Do we have any other way? So it totally depends what events you are talking about and what is the event platform that you are using. So if these are kind of third-party events that you are sponsoring, for example, you do not have any any stake there, like you are not actually the collector of the data, then definitely you are going to receive the list and you have to upload those lists in Marketo. But if you are hosting your own events, like in-person events, you have to have some tools there and see if you have native integration, some sort of integration available. If you are talking about webinars as events, then most of the modern webinar tools, they provide native integration with Marketo or at least Salesforce. So you should be able to sync that data kind of in real time. But I'm not entirely sure what type of event you are talking about and what type of tools you are using. So would love to learn more about that. If you want, you can also reach out to me one-on-one and we can have a separate discussion on this, Manjula. Yeah. Okay. How is Marketo emails are different from webinar service providers inbuilt notification email, and what type of data is flowing between webinar service provider and Marketo? So it totally depends again on platform to platform, but the idea usually is to have all the emails going from a single platform to enforce that brand and consistency. So if you are, let's say, sending out invite email from Marketo, but you are sending out thank you and sorry emails, or maybe the confirmation email from the other platform, so your branding might not match, and it might not be a consistent experience. The other thing is that way you are kind of going into multiple systems, setting up those emails, and if you have to change, you have to change into multiple systems. So ideally it is recommended to only use one system there, and manage everything centrally. A Marketo, if you see, that provides you flexibility to enforce that, and with the help of using tokens, you can switch anything or change anything in all the emails within that a webinar for that particular webinar campaign in kind of a single snap, right? So that's why these are some of the reasons why people prefer sending out emails from Marketo instead of from webinar platform. On the type of data, it totally depends again, but if you see standard, it's registration data, attendee data, not attendee data, and if they allow, you might be able to sync the Q&As, polls, all that data as well to Marketo from there, and even all that data. Cool. So many questions. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been wonderful. We are almost on time, but don't hesitate to reach out to me on LinkedIn if you still have any questions that I was not able to answer, and if you want to connect and discuss something more. I do this this program called Together We Learn, Together We Grow, where we set up a 15-minute session with you guys one-on-one. So if you go to my blog, which is the marketingautomationblog.com, let me just send you that very quickly here. So within that blog, there is a section for Together We Learn, Together We Grow, and you can simply go there and book a session with me one-on-one. It's free, so don't worry about that. You can go ahead and book that session with me. Okay. So you should be able to see this button now. I'm sure you should be. So you can go there and book that session. It's just to spell out, it's themarketingautomationblog.com. You can go there and book that session. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, LinkedIn ID. So let me share that as well with you guys. But I think it's there in my signatures, that in the emails that you are receiving. It's not working. One second. So my LinkedIn is this. Let me share this with you guys. Publish this question. So you should be able to see that. Otherwise, I will include this in the email that I will be sending out to you guys. Both of these links as well there. So don't worry about that. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Have a nice weekend ahead, and probably see you soon. I will send out invite as soon as we plan the next webinar or next session. Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. Bye.